Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily English Talk. I'm Jack, and I'm really happy you're here with us today.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. Thanks for listening, whether you're at home, driving, or just taking a short break.
All right, let me start with a quick question for you. Have you ever started telling a story in English, and halfway through people stopped listening?
Yeah, maybe they looked at their phone, maybe they just said, "Oh, okay," and the moment was gone.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, it's not because your English is bad.
Right. Most of the time, it's not grammar or vocabulary at all. It's how the story is told.
And that's what we're talking about today. How to tell a story in English like a native speaker.
Because storytelling is everywhere. At work, with friends, in interviews, even in casual conversations.
If you can tell a simple story clearly and naturally, people enjoy listening to you, and your confidence goes way up.
And the good news? Native speakers don't use complicated words. They use simple English, clear structure, and emotion.
So in this episode, we'll break storytelling down into easy steps you can actually use in real life.
No stress, no perfect grammar, just real, natural English conversation.
All right, let's get started. So Sarah, let's talk about this idea everyone has. Sounding like a native speaker.
Yeah, because a lot of English learners think it means speaking fast or using big, difficult words.
Exactly. Or having perfect grammar all the time.
But honestly, native speakers don't speak perfectly. We pause, we repeat ourselves, we change direction in the middle of a sentence.
That's such an important point. Sounding natural is more about connection than correctness.
Right. Native speakers focus on making the listener understand the story, not on being perfect.
And when it comes to storytelling, natives usually do three things really well.
First, they keep it simple.
Second, they speak in a relaxed, natural rhythm.
And third, they show feelings. They don't just say what happened, they say how it felt.
So, if you're listening and thinking, "My English isn't good enough to tell stories," that's not true.
You don't need advanced vocabulary. You need clear ideas, simple sentences, and confidence.
In fact, sometimes learners try too hard, and the story becomes confusing.
Yeah, simple English told well is much more powerful than complex English told badly.
So today, we're not teaching you to sound perfect.
We're teaching you to sound natural.
All right, now that we understand that, let's talk about how native speakers actually structure their stories. All right, now let's get practical. If you want to tell a story like a native speaker, you need one simple thing: a structure.
And don't worry, this isn't complicated. Native speakers actually use a very simple formula.
Exactly. Most good stories follow four basic parts.
Let's walk through them one by one.
The first part is the setting. This means, when and where did the story happen?
For example, you might say, "Yesterday at work," or "Last weekend I was at the supermarket."
You don't need long details. Just give the listener a quick picture.
Right. The second part is the people. Who was involved in the story?
You could say, "My friend," "my boss," or "this woman in front of me."
Again, simple and clear.
Now the third part is the most important: the problem or main event.
This is where something happens. Something interesting, funny, surprising, or stressful.
This is the moment that makes people want to listen.
And finally, the fourth part is the ending or reaction.
How did the story finish? Or how did you feel about it?
You might say, "In the end, everything was fine," or "I couldn't stop laughing."
So let's repeat the structure quickly. Setting, people, event, ending.
If you remember this, your stories will already sound more organized and natural.
And the best part? This structure works for short stories and long stories.
Exactly. whether you're speaking for 30 seconds or 5 minutes.
Next, we'll show you how native speakers start stories in a natural way, without sounding robotic. So now that we have the structure, let's talk about something really important: how you start a story.
Because the beginning decides everything. If the start feels boring or robotic, people lose interest fast.
A lot of English learners start stories like this. Yesterday I went to the market and I saw...
Grammatically correct, but it doesn't feel natural.
Exactly. Native speakers usually start stories in a more relaxed, casual way.
They often start with a short hook, something that makes the listener curious.
For example, "So, something funny happened to me yesterday."
Or, "You won't believe what happened at work today."
Notice something important here. These openings don't give all the information.
They create curiosity. They make the listener think, "Okay, what happened?"
Another very natural way to start is by setting the moment slowly.
Like, "Okay, so I was at the supermarket and..."
That little pause, "okay, so," is very native.
And it gives you time to think, which is great if English isn't your first language.
Also, don't be afraid of pauses.
Yes, pauses make your story sound more natural, not less fluent.
Native speakers pause all the time to organize their thoughts.
So instead of rushing, slow down.
Start casually, use simple words, and let the story flow.
And remember, you're talking to a person, not reading a textbook.
All right, now that we know how to start strong, let's talk about how native speakers connect ideas and keep the story moving. All right, so you've started your story well. Now the next challenge is keeping it smooth.
Yeah, because a lot of learners stop after every sentence and think, "What do I say next?"
That's where linking words come in.
And here's the good news. Native speakers don't use fancy linking words.
They use very simple ones, words you already know.
Like so, then, and, but, because.
Let's give a quick example. Without linking words, a story sounds like this. I went to the store. I saw my friend. We talked.
It's correct, but it feels choppy.
Now listen to this. So, I went to the store, and then I saw my friend, and we started talking.
Same story, but much smoother.
Native speakers also use filler connectors.
Yeah, words like actually, anyway, suddenly, in the end.
These words give you time to think and help the listener follow the story.
And here's a big tip. Don't worry about repeating words.
Native speakers repeat so and then all the time.
Fluency is about flow, not variety.
Another important thing, intonation.
Your voice should rise and fall naturally.
When something exciting happens, your voice goes up.
When the story ends, your voice slows down.
This keeps people interested.
So remember, simple connectors, natural pauses, and relaxed rhythm.
All right, next up, we're getting to the secret that really makes stories interesting. Okay, Sarah, this is the part that changes everything.
Yes, this is the difference between a boring story and a great one.
Emotion.
Exactly. Native speakers don't just tell you what happened, they tell you how they felt.
And you don't need long descriptions.
Sometimes one short sentence is enough.
Like, I was really nervous, or I was so excited.
Those small, emotional details help the listener connect with you.
Another thing native speakers do, they show emotion with their voice.
Podcast, you can hear it.
Your tone goes up when you're surprised.
It slows down when something serious happens.
And this might surprise you. Body language matters too.
Even if no one sees you, moving your hands or smiling changes your voice.
That's why native speakers sound more natural.
Also, notice that natives don't describe everything.
They choose one or two small details.
Like, my hands were shaking. instead of a long explanation.
Those details make the story real.
So if you remember one thing from this section, share feelings, not facts.
All right, now let's talk about some common mistakes learners make when telling stories. All right, now let's talk about some mistakes, because everyone makes them.
And the good thing is, once you know them, they're easy to fix.
The first big mistake is making the story too long.
Yeah, learners sometimes explain everything.
What time it was, what they were wearing, what they ate.
But native speakers focus on the main point.
If a detail doesn't help the story, you can skip it.
The second mistake is translating directly from your own language.
That's a very common one.
Some sentence structures sound natural in one language, but strange in English.
So instead of translating, think in simple English sentences.
Short sentences are powerful.
Another mistake is worrying too much about grammar.
This slows people down and kills confidence.
Native speakers care more about understanding than perfection.
If the listener understands you, you're doing great.
The last common mistake, forgetting the ending.
Yes, some stories just stop.
Always finish your story.
Even a simple ending like, "So yeah, that was my day," or "In the end, it worked out."
These small endings make your story feel complete.
Once you avoid these mistakes, your stories will already sound more native.
All right, let's give our listeners a chance to practice. All right, now it's your turn.
Yeah, don't just listen. Let's practice together.
We want you to think of a very small story.
Nothing big, just something from yesterday or today.
For example, something that happened at work, at home, or on the street.
Now remember the simple structure we talked about.
First, where and when.
Second, who was there.
Third, what happened.
And last, how it ended or how you felt.
Try to say it out loud.
Yes, even if you're alone.
Don't worry about mistakes.
Focus on being clear and calm.
If you want, pause the podcast right now,
And tell your story.
then come back.
The more you practice like this, the more natural your English will feel.
All right, let's wrap everything up. All right, let's quickly review what we talked about today.
First, telling stories in English is a skill, not a talent.
Anyone can learn it with practice.
Second, native speakers use simple words, not complicated ones.
They focus on structure, flow, and emotion.
Third, every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an ending.
And finally, confidence matters more than perfect grammar.
If people understand you, you're doing it right.
So next time you speak English, don't just answer questions.
Tell a small story.
Even short stories make conversations more natural.
And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
All right, let's finish today's episode properly. All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode on telling stories like a native speaker.
We hope you enjoyed it and learned some tips you can use right away.
If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Easy Conversation Podcast.
And hit the like button if you found it helpful, and share it with friends who are learning English.
Also, don't forget to practice your storytelling and come back next time.
Next episode, we'll talk about how to sound confident when speaking English, so stay tuned.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.